Good morning, students. This is Ajay. I welcome you all in this YouTube channel, The Politics. तो आज मैं आपके लिए लेके आया हूँ एक नया टॉपिक इंडियन पॉलिटिक्स से, जिसका नाम है द पार्लियामेंट ऑफ इंडिया। तो आइए शुरू करते हैं आज का टॉपिक, पार्लियामेंट ऑफ इंडिया। जैसा कि आप सब जानते हैं, गवर्नमेंट के 3 ऑर्गन होते हैं, लेजिस्लेचर, एग्जीक्यूटिव एंड जुडिशरी। So the legislature is headed by the Parliament of India, executive is headed by the President of India, and judiciary is headed by the Supreme Court of India. So legislature, executive and judiciary are the 3 different organs of the government through which government works. So it is clear that the Parliament of India is the legislative organ. So the main function of this legislature is to make laws or to make rules, and the function of executive is to implement those rules and laws or to apply those laws. And the third organ, that is the judiciary, it has a very important function to perform. The function of judiciary is to adjudicate, means judiciary has to judge the actions of the executive and the laws made by the legislature. If at any stage judiciary found the actions of the the actions of the executive or the laws made by the legislative organ as against the Constitution of India, in that particular case judiciary has the right to declare those laws and actions as irrelevant, null and void. There will be no validity of all those laws and actions after the judiciary declare those as irrelevant. So it means judiciary acts like the guardian of the Constitution of India. So one thing is clear, that the Parliament of India is the legislative organ of the government, and it occupies the central position in the Indian democratic structure, and just because of the adoption of the parliamentary form of government. And India has adopted this parliamentary form of government from the Constitution of Britain, and this particular form of government is also known as the Westminster model, because as we have derived this form of government from Britain, and the Parliament of Britain works in a palace known as the Westminster. Just because of this reason, this particular type of government is also known as the Westminster form of government. So dear students, before proceeding further, let's have a look on the difference between the Indian parliamentary system and the British parliamentary system. So dear students, in India we have the elected head of the state, that is the President of India, but in Britain the head of the state, that is hereditary, like king or queen. So as you know that in parliamentary form of government there are 2 types of heads. One is the nominal head, that is the head of the state, and other is the real head. So in India we have 2 types of heads. Number 1 is the head of the state, that is the President of India, and second is the real head, that is the Prime Minister. President of India is only the nominal head. All the powers of the constitution are theoretically in the hands of the President of India, but they are in reality enjoyed by the Prime Minister of India. Secondly, the Parliament of India is not a supreme body like the Parliament of Britain. Its powers are defined and its authority is limited by the Constitution of India. Whatever laws are made in the Parliament of India, they should be according to the laws, according to the rules mentioned in the Constitution of India. If any law passed by the Parliament comes in confrontation with the in confrontation with the Constitution of India, judiciary has the right to declare those particular laws as irrelevant. But in case of the Parliament of the British Parliament is supreme. There is no limitation on the powers of the Parliament of Britain. They can do anything in their parliament, as their parliament is supreme. So let's move towards the composition of Indian Parliament. The Indian Parliament is comprised of 3 parts. First is the President, second is the Council of States, which is also known as the Rajya Sabha, and third is the House of People, which is known as the Lok Sabha also. Though the President of India is not a member of any house of the Parliament, Neither he sits in the parliament nor attends its meetings, but he is an integral part of the Parliament of India, because any law which is passed by the Parliament of India, which is passed by the both the houses of the Parliament of India, cannot become a law विदाउट एजेंट ऑफ द प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया। कोई भी लॉ जो है दोनों हाउसेस के द्वारा जब पार्लियामेंट के द्वारा पास किया जाता है, वो कोई भी बिल तब तक लॉ नहीं बनता है जब तक उसके ऊपर प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया के साइन नहीं होते हैं। इसके अलावा भी कुछ प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया के कुछ और भी फंक्शंस हैं, जैसे दोनों हाउसेस की मीटिंग्स को बुलाना, उनकी जॉइंट सिटिंग्स को बुलाना, जब पार्लियामेंट सेशन में नहीं हो ऑर्डिनेंसेस पास करना। तो ये कुछ ऐसे फंक्शंस होते हैं जो प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया परफॉर्म करते हैं इन रिस्पेक्ट ऑफ पार्लियामेंट। दैट्स वाई ही इज़ कंसिडर्ड एज द इंटेग्रल पार्ट ऑफ द पार्लियामेंट ऑफ इंडिया। So dear students, as we have the two houses, that is the Council of States and the House of People. So with regard to the composition of the Council of States, this house is also known as, or we can say that it is popularly known as the Rajya Sabha. The Rajya Sabha is the Hindi version of the council which was adopted in the year 1994. This house is also known as the upper house, house of elders, second chamber and the permanent house. Permanent house because this particular house doesn't subject to dissolution. The members of this particular house, that is the Rajya Sabha, they retire after 6 years. Two-thirds of its members retire after every 2 years after the completion of their 6 years term. So constitutionally the maximum strength of the Rajya Sabha can be 250, out of which 238 are indirectly elected from the states and the union territories, and 12 members are nominated by the President of India. But presently Rajya Sabha is comprised of 245 members, out of which 225 represents the states and 8 members represents the union territories, and 12 members are nominated by the presidents. Dear students, one thing is very important here is that the 8 members which represents the union territories, earlier we have only 4 members of from the union territories, but with the passage of the state reorganization, Jammu and Kashmir state reorganization act, the number that is from 4 to it came from 4 to 8, as the 4 members from the Jammu and Kashmir also comes under the category of union territories. So the 12 members which are nominated by the President of India, they are those persons who have special knowledge and practical experience in the field of literature, science, social service, sports, etc. So let's have a look to another slide regarding the composition. So the Rajya Sabha has 3 types of members. Number 1 is the representatives from the different states of the India. They are 229 in number, and they are elected indirectly by the elected MLAs or the elected representatives of the people, and the method which is used in their election is the proportional representation by means of single transferable vote. This is a very particular very technical method. We will study in this in the next lecture. And secondly, we have the representatives from the union territories. They are 4 in number, and they are also indirectly elected, but they are not elected by the elected representatives. They are elected by the electoral college which is specially constituted for this purpose. The method is same for the election of the representative of the states and the election for the representatives from the union territories. So we have 3 union territories, that is Delhi, Puducherry and Jammu and Kashmir, those who have representation in Rajya Sabha. Earlier the number is 4, and after the Jammu and Kashmir came under the category of union territory, the number goes from 4 to 8, and the number which is for the representative of state was 229, it came to 225 only. Thirdly, we have the nominated members, 12 nominated members which are nominated by the President of India from amongst the person having special knowledge and practical experience in science, literature, social service and sports. So dear students, this is the composition of Rajya Sabha, and these are the 3 types of members which are the part of the Rajya Sabha. So regarding the composition of the House of People, which is also known as the Lok Sabha. This particular house is popularly known as the Lok Sabha, and this is the Hindi version which was adopted by the House of People in the year 1954. This is also known as the lower house or the first chamber and the popular house. The maximum strength of the Lok Sabha can be 552, out of which 530 are directly elected by the people of India, and they represent the states, and 20 from the union territories. 2 are nominated by the President of India. Presently we have 545 members, out of which 524 represents the states and 19 represents the union territories, and 2 are nominated by the President of India. So dear students, this number, that is the 19, this includes the members from the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. The 2 members which are nominated by the President of India for Lok Sabha, they are from the Anglo-Indian communities. Anglo-Indian community, that is the persons with mixed origin of India and Britain. So in Lok Sabha we have 3 types of members. Number 1 is the representative of the states. They are 513 numbers, and after the passing of the state reorganization bill for Jammu and Kashmir, they came to 524 only. They are directly elected by the people, means they are directly elected by the people, uh, and for this purpose the whole territory of India is divided into small union territories on the basis of the population. 545 union territories, 545 constituencies, and from each constituency only one candidate is elected as the member of parliament, and the method of election is universal adult franchise. It means all those citizens of India who have attained the age of 18 years and their name is registered in the electoral roll of that particular constituency, they have the right to vote to the election for the Lok Sabha. So in this way they directly elected their representatives for Lok Sabha. Secondly, we have the representatives from the union territories. They are 19 in number. We have 9 union territories: Ladakh, Jammu and Kashmir, Chandigarh, Delhi, Dadar Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu, Lakshadweep, Puducherry, and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So these are the 9 union territories. The Parliament of India is authorized to prescribe the manner for the election of all these union territories. So accordingly, the Parliament of India has enacted the direct election to the House of People. The Parliament of India has enacted the Union Territories Direct Election to the House of People Act 1965, which prescribed the direct election for the members of Union Territories to the Lok Sabha. So thirdly, we have the two nominated members, only 2 nominated members for Lok Sabha, and they are nominated by the President of India from the Anglo-Indian community if this particular community is not adequately represented during the elections. So this Anglo-Indian community means the persons having mixed origin of India and Britain, and they are also living in India. If they are living in India, they have the right for 2 members in Lok Sabha. So dear students, this is all about the Parliament of India. We will study in next lecture the system of single transferable proportional representation by means of single transferable vote system. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye bye.